I love all aspects of art, actually, but one of the things that I really like to go back to time and time again are my art journals. And these are sort of collage journals and junk journals, and I just love working in them. And sometimes when I don't want to paint and I just want to clear my mind of things and not think too much, that's when I go back to my collage and art journal. And that's what we're going to do today in this week's Friday Art. Welcome. Welcome if you are new, and welcome back. My name is Kate Field. I'm an artist, a teacher and speaker, passionate about helping you find your creative spirit, just in case you've lost it. So, without further ado, let's go. I'm going to take you on a little journey today, and I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to be working through an art journal, a junk journal, and the first thing I need to do is apologise. I'm not going to apologise for the sunshine, but the sun is creating huge shadows at the moment. The sun is pouring in through my studio, so I will be aware of that, and I hope it doesn't distract you too much. So this is a junk journal that I made a few months ago. It's a concertina book, which means it sort of opens up. And I did a tutorial on how to make a junk journal like this, and I will pop that in the description below, so you might want to check that out. But the whole thing about a junk journal is that you don't have to think about it too much. It's hugely relaxing and satisfying, and you can put all sorts of things into it. And I was looking through some of my papers, things that I collect from magazines, from my own collage papers, and I'll talk about those a little bit later. And I found this. It was from a magazine. And that kind of got me onto the idea of creating and designing some collage papers relating to time and sort of vintage and things like that. Now, I love putting in lines of poetry and prose and just lovely uplifting quotes and things like that. So they are going to appear as well. And what I do is when I find a nice quote, I will just write it down or type it onto bits of paper and things like that, and then I can just refer back to them. And I really recommend that you do that as well, because it just means that you can just have all your bits and pieces and off you go. Now, this journal is made up of all sorts of bits and pieces: old sheet music, old newspaper, magazines, brochures, all sorts of things. This was an old IT programming book that from the 1990s. So things that are going to be thrown away, then you put into your book. And the lovely thing about this book is I can turn it round and I've got a whole nother book, which is great. So if you want to learn how to make one of those, then check out the previous tutorial. So what I'm going to do first of all is just talk a little bit about how I put ideas together. So let's just have a look at this page here. I wanted this idea of the clock. Really liked that. I like tags and things like that, and I thought, I put another little clock. And this is the paper that I used. I created this one myself, and I will link things if you're interested in having a look at some of my collage papers, because I am going to be using my own collage papers in this tutorial, as well as magazines and bits of newspaper. So I've just started to put together some ideas. Now, look at the colours. I'm using very neutral colours, sort of the beige, pastels, greys, that sort of thing. On other pages I might use some very bright and vibrant ones, but a page will work if you have this cohesion. That's what makes it look really good. And that takes a bit of practice. And I'll give you an example. If I find something like this, for example, you can see that it doesn't really work. And I love this. I love this bookmark, but it doesn't work on this page. And that's why you need to really think about what you're going to do. So I've got some words here. Just thinking some of those might be suitable. But I quite like the handwritten one. Beneath the clock's face. Moments bloom like wildflowers, untouched by hand. Nice little haiku. And so I hope you can see how I've kind of put those bits together. Now, the other thing that I love to do is making pockets. I just love it. I love making a little pocket. Who doesn't like a little pocket? And you can put all sorts of things in a pocket. So this page was made from magazine, Nature magazine. So I'm going to show you how to make this. No, that doesn't work there. How to make this layered pocket. Now, I like to use all sorts of leftover bits and pieces that are going to be thrown away. So this is from an old diary, an old desk diary. I've got 4 sheets here. I'm just going to, I just want them this size really. The principle is the same, whichever way you want to do it. I'm going to use these just so, because I think it's going to be easier. I am sorry about that shadow. Right, let's hope that that's going to be okay. Just going to layer those 4 pieces like that. I'm not measuring it, I'm just sort of eyeballing it. And then what you do is you're just going to fold it in half. And bring that bit up there. And that's it. How easy is that? And there are all your little bits. So let's take my book. I think that's going to be too wide, so I just need to trim that up. And I'm just going to trim it with my ruler actually. I'm just going to put my ruler on here. And I'm just going to tear. And this again is one of the reasons that I love making these sorts of junk journals, because you can just play with it. You don't have to worry about, I'm going to do something else on that. You don't have to worry about measuring and things like that. You can just have a good old play. So I've got a little pocket there. Should I put another one there? No, because I quite like that background. So what I'm looking for is a background that's a bit boring, like this one. Perfect. So I'm going to stick that one there. Now there's various different ways that you can stick things on, and I tend to use a glue stick or I'll use masking tape. So I'm just going to flip that over like this. Just, be a little bit careful because it might all fall apart until we've secured it. But this is the easiest way. This is so easy, so easy. Let's just put that like that. Now I've just realised I've made a mistake because I didn't flip that one, so I'm just going to tear that one. This is, you kind of make things up as you go along, and that's what I love. I love that. Now you could put some nice little washi tape down the sides if you want. I'm just going to use masking tape. That's all I'm going to do. Just going to put some masking tape down here. And I've got my little pockets. Now I might leave them like that so they're open. That could work quite well. But that's how you do them. Now obviously you could use decorative papers and printed papers, or you could do ones that you have painted yourself. That could look really, really good. But I like the idea of things just being a little bit experimental and trying things out. Right, let's go on to our next little bit of the journal, which is going to be a flip pocket. So this is my little flip pocket. It flips over, and I've just put a little label in there with another little haiku, which is quite sweet. Pop that there. These are so easy to make, and you can use whatever you want. Now, depending on how big your journal is, it's going to be dependent on how big you want your pocket. Now, you could have 2 pieces of paper, 2 separate pieces like I've done here, or you could just have 1 strip. Let's just move that out of the way. I'm going to show you both because it is very simple, and once you've got it, you'll think, oh yeah, that's easy. Now, I do like to have, oh, where's it gone? This little bit here. You don't have to have it. I'm going to use my hole punch to create it, but again, you could do it by hand if you want to. I'm just eyeballing it just to have that one there. It's quite nice. And I want the pocket to be open at the top and sealed at the bottom. We're going to take this end here, and obviously if you've got 2 together, then that's fine. And I'm going to make the hinge. Again, very simple. I'm just going to have another piece of my sheet music actually, and I'm just going to tear it. I'm going to tear the hinge. I'll fold it in half just to give it a little bit. You don't have to, if your paper's quite thick, you don't need to fold it in half. But I think I'm going to need to do a little bit on that. Just put that there. I've got my masking tape. I'm just going to secure that one down there. That's going to go across there like that. You could use glue, you know, anything really. I like using masking tape because I like to see how I've done things. Not always, but sometimes I do. So this is my tab. I'm going to fold that in half just to create that hinge, and that will help us to flip it over. And we can measure it on there. You can see whether that's going to fit or not, or whether it's just going to look silly. You might. I want this one to be on there on the middle bit, but you don't have to have it there. You have it wherever you want. It's yours. Let's just put that to one side. So we just need to kind of seal these ones a little bit. Again, you could put a bit of glue. You could use some washi tape. That can look nice. I'm just going to put just a bit of glue down there, just so things don't fall out. Just put that like that one. Now, I tend to leave embellishing my pocket to the end when I'm kind of thinking about how I'm creating the whole page. It's like kind of still working on this. This page just looks a mess and I don't like it. So this is why I thought I'm going to put my pocket in here. I'm going to secure it that way, having a bit sticking out, quite like that. Mask. Oh. Oh yes, the joys of masking tape. Just like put that fold on there, just holding it in there. Flip it over, and then this is very, very sticky masking tape actually. All right, let's just put that there. Then you've got your little pocket, and I wanted one that stuck out a little bit because I like that. You might want to sort of tuck it in. You do whatever you want, it's yours. Now we've got that. What are we going to do with it? Let's think about the different ways that we can start to embellish it. Now I like to use ink pads, distress ink and Stays On are my favourites, and we can just do that. But you don't have to do this. You could use paint to do this. You could use a tea bag. We quite often use tea bags to stain papers. I am going to do a full tutorial on how to stain papers for artwork and collage. So you might want to check that one out. Let's just do that. I love this colour. I love this moss. There we go. Just those edges, just kind of make it a little bit more interesting. Let's just pop that lid back on, keep it dry. And then I'm going to think about what else I want to do on this page. And I want to keep the idea of time. And I made this one ages ago, actually, with the kind of, I just put different sorts of elements in and had a bit of a grungy feel about it. And I thought it was fun. So I'm going to just tear bits off. This paper, this collage paper is available in my Shopify shop, which I will put a link to if you are interested. That's right. I'm going to scrap paper, get those edges. Otherwise we're getting a right old mess, which is actually quite common for me. Look at that. The sun has moved around a little bit, so it's but it's an absolutely beautiful day. Beautiful day. What's the weather like where you are? I haven't had a weather update for a while. Let's do that. So I am recording this in my home studio, which is in Dorset in southwest England, but by the time this goes out, I will be in Canada. I'm going on a holiday to Canada, so I'm very excited about that. There we are. Like that. So you can see that I'm beginning to put these bits together. I've got my little pocket. I'm going to think about what I'm going to put in this pocket, and I think what we're going to do are some labels. Quick interruption of my own tutorial to tell you about Open Studio, which is my membership, my YouTube membership, and all members will have early access to tutorials, and the higher level ones, the creative explorers, will have access to various courses that I've run in real life and have made onto online. Can't get my words out today. I think I need a coffee. Anyway, if you'd like to join that, you'll be very, very welcome. Let's get back to work. I really like labels. I love all sorts of stationery. I always have done. It's one of those strange things. But you can make your own. I got these from our local post office, actually. They're just ordinary brown paper. And I've got some ink, some sort of distressed stuff. Let's just sort of do some around the edges. But again, you could use tea or coffee to stain these. You could use watercolour paints. I'm just going to do these quite quickly. But the other thing that I quite like to do is I've just done this one and then I realised I hadn't filmed it. So I've got an ordinary label and I've just scrunched it up like that. And I'm going to open it up again. And of course you get all of those lovely lines. And then you can just put a few bits in there like that. That's a bit of the green. And the ink will just go into the creases, won't it? Now, if that's a little bit too much, you can always get tissue, rub it a little bit, and then sometimes, actually, I think I will do this because it is very effective. Let me go there, just rub that across there. I'm just going to get a little bit of white acrylic paint. I've got a little bit of white acrylic. I'm just going to use my stencil sponge. You could use an ordinary sponge. You could use your fingers actually. And I'm just going to put just a little bit of white over the top of this. No water, just to keep it like this because I want it to dry quickly. Just going to flip that over a little bit, just gives that kind of misty effect, which I quite like, and that will dry really, really, really quickly. Let me just do a few more. Again, let's just do a couple of these as well. So I think that's, might scrunch that one up a bit more. Obviously I'm going to get very mucky again. I did think I wouldn't get quite so mucky today. It's not going to happen though, is it? Just do that. These just make the labels a little bit more interesting. But the other thing you can do is, like done on this piece of paper, it's fairly thick paper. It's probably about 200 grams per square metre. Just going to put that like that. And I'm just going to take this, because I quite like this size. So that's going to be like that. And I'm just going to cut out, probably get 2 out of this one. I shall do that one. So I'm just going to leave those labels to dry for a little bit. I'm going to come back to this page because I'm really not very happy with it. Let's just sort of work on this. I've got some of my neutrals here. Now these are pages that I made just by photographing other bits and pieces that I already had, and then adding elements and then photographing them again and sort of building them up. And I really like them. And you can make your own as well, obviously. Perhaps I'll do a tutorial actually on how to make your own printed collage papers. That could be good. If you think that would be something that you'd like, then let me know. Just going to pop that on there. I'm always open to new ideas of tutorials, so if there's something that you would like me to do, something that you'd like to learn about, then yeah, pop it in the comments. I always love reading your comments. They're just wonderful. Oh my goodness, so uplifting, many of them. Thank you so much for taking the time to write a comment that's so lovely. And many of your comments are very uplifting to other people as well, which is really nice. So thank you for that. And if you would like to join the Facebook group, that is a very friendly face. It's grown quite a lot. I've only been running this channel since sort of end of February 2024, and so it's pretty new really, and I love the way it's growing and developing with such lovely people. It's yeah, it's just wonderful. So you can see I'm just sort of putting together some of these pieces. Now I know that the colours all work because I'd collected them all together, so they all work. And I do like these kind of dried flower elements, and what I'm going to do is to take this, so this is one of my own collage papers, and I'm just going to cut out that dried flower. I like that. And then when I'm happy with the whole background, then I can start thinking about what I want to do for words. Now, I feel this is getting a little bit lost, and I think it needs to be on something else. So let's just sort of have a little bit of a play. See, that could be quite nice with that sort of beigey colour. Let's just try out some other things as well. I know, I quite like that. But I've also got pages of old books and water damage stuff that might work as well. But the text I think could work. So what I'm going to do is, let's get my scrap of paper. Try not to get too sticky. And I'm going to stick this element on to here, like that. And then I'm going to cut it out from here. Let's just, and see what that looks like. Some elements I will put onto black or white so that you have an outline, and that can be very effective as well. But I'm sure, oh yeah, I like that. That's better. That's a better piece. I'm not going to stick it down just yet because I think I might pick this up. Add a little bit more. Just sort of play around with the composition. Think about your balance. Think about having a recurring theme throughout the page to add to that cohesion. So I'm going to play around with this a little bit more, and then I will come back and show you what I've done. So another one of my favourite pockets is this one, sort of an envelope pocket with quite a lot of compartments in it, which is quite sweet, isn't it? You can do all sorts of things with this one, and I have actually made this one into a flip as well because, well, why not? Really easy to make again, and I'm going to show you how. Now I used a sheet of music, and I will show you one with a sheet of music, but I'm just going to show you one with a magazine. So I wanted to keep with my neutral themes and the neutral colours. So I found this page in the magazine. I'm going to flip it over. It doesn't matter what this one is, although some of it will show, but I'll show you what we can do with that. Doesn't matter about a jaggedy edge. I'm going to take one corner and just fold it up like that. So you've got that space there. You're going to turn it round. Doesn't matter about that not being even. And you're going to fold that bit over there. Have a look, see how much space you've got. I'm just eyeballing it a little bit. And then you're going to fold that bit over like that. Oh. Like that. And then that bit over like that. And that is it. It's now sometimes I leave the pointy bits there. Sometimes I would just trim it up like that, and you've got your pockets. Now there are loads and loads of ways of doing this depending on the size of your paper. You're going to have a slightly different outcome. So let's just do it with this one, folding it that way, turning it round, folding it over like that, and then folding it like that. And so it's going to be slightly, oh, come undone again. Never mind. There we go. So you've just got different size pockets depending on what you want, and obviously you can decorate things as much as you like. Now with this one, for example, this bit here is quite distracting from the neutral colours, so these are the bits that I chopped off the top, and I can stick those on just to kind of get that more neutral colour. Or you could paint it or do something like that. But just don't be kind of put off by, oh, that's not quite the right colour, I need to do this, I need to do that. Don't get worried about things like that, because that is not important. Right, now I've lost my other bit. Oh dear me, I am having a having an interesting morning. How's your morning going? There we go. Let's just, as with all of my tutorials, whether I'm teaching online or whether I'm actually in the classroom, I have the same philosophy, is that we need to allow ourselves to play, to try things out, not to be worried about things going wrong, and to just enjoy the process. Enjoying the process is one of those things that I think that we can forget. We can forget how to do that. And I think that's really sad. And it's the making that is important. So I was teaching my younger students last week, and they're all home educated, and I run an art class, and they're just lovely, lovely, lovely. And there's one lovely lad who is a little bit of a perfectionist, gets a little bit worried when things don't quite go how he wants them to go. And so I've been sort of talking to him about play and how important it is to experiment, and how all artists make mistakes and you can't make art unless you make mistakes. And we were making the little pop-up book, the explosion book. So if you haven't seen that tutorial, have it, because that was great fun. Anyway, he really struggled with folding it all together. He had lots of really creative ideas, but then he just got really kind of frustrated with the whole thing, and was on the brink of giving up. But he's a persevering lad. So he said he would carry on, getting very cross about it. Get to the end of the class, and he still hasn't done it the way he wanted to do it. So I said, well, just take it home, go home and have something to eat, have a bit of a relax, and then come back to it. So the next day I get an email from his mum, and there he is with a photograph with it all finished and it all looking absolutely lovely. It was just wonderful. It was so wonderful. So that's the thing, isn't it? Sometimes we just have to keep persevering, and if it all goes horribly wrong, we just try again. Okay, so I am going to put in this one. This page is coming on now. Got my little... Then I found this lovely Shakespeare quote. The earth has music for those who listen. I like things like that. And so this, I might put a tag on that one as well, or I might just keep it in its pocket. But I'm much happier with this space. I've just started to do this one. This is kind of like one of my grungy papers, with kind of a floral hint, which I quite like. And I'm going to keep adding to this idea of time and vintage and travel and all of that kind of thing. But I think this one, no, I like that one. I think this one needs to go over here. I might just keep those pointy bits. Or, see, that was fun, wasn't it? That was fun. Let's turn over. What have I got here? Level up your practice. Do I need that? No, I don't think I do. I don't think that's working up for me. I don't need to level up my practice. That's what I was looking for. I wanted this kind of as a neutral background, and I'm going to have that not as a flip one, but just as a pocket. So I'm just going to stick that on there. So we just open it up like this. Very easy. That, pop that one there, pop that one over there. This is the sheet music that I got from my local charity shop. They had a whole box. It was all, a lot of it was water damaged. And they were going to throw it away because they'd had it for a few months, I think. I didn't think anybody would want it. And then I walked in. And I love it. It's great. Let's just put some glue on the back of this one. And we'll go back to the labels in a moment, but I just want to show you one last little pocket that you can put into your junk journal. Obviously, you can embellish these however you like. So, who has a whole load of these? I kind of collected a lot of them because I thought I definitely want to do something with them. And I did do a tutorial a while ago on the patterns inside because they're really interesting. But that's probably just me. It might only be me who thinks that. There we go. Now, I'm sure some of you think that. I'm sure some of you think that ordinary things are interesting. But I'm going to pop it onto this page, I think, and I'm going to have it as a flip one. So I just want to, I'm going to put it on the side this way. So I'm just sort of eyeballing it there. There we go. You could use a ruler, you could use a cutter. I'm just using the scissors for the minute, just to get that right edge. And I'm going to just take off that bit as well. Okay, what I want to do is to open it up. So I'm just going to take that edge off as well. And again, if you tear it, you get that lovely jaggedy edge, and that's quite good. I'm just going to cut it for the moment, because what I'm more interested in is this, because this comes into my neutral colours, and I like that, and I like this little window. It's quite cheeky little window. And I'm going to edge this with some masking tape. Again, I'm not going to get too bogged down with it all, because I'm just trying out ideas and putting things together and seeing what happens. Just got to put that on there. Fold that over. Now, obviously, you can make these as delicate, as pretty, as colourful as you want. You could use some really lovely ribbons or brightly coloured washi tape. All sorts of things that you can do. Because what I do is teach you the technique. What you then do with it is entirely up to you. So, and then we have my little envelope in there. I'm just going to make that as a hinge. Again, I'm just lining that on the centre of the fold of the book. I'll bring it down, flip that over. And it just adds another dimension to your journal. And then you can decorate this however you want. Now, I often use stencils in my journal. I'm not going to today. I've done a couple of tutorials on how I use stencils, which I love. I love using stencils. You can get some very interesting effects using your stencil. So you might like to check those out as well. So these are just some handwritten pieces that I've found. And I might add a little bit more music. Just got these odd little bits that I like. I'm just sort of trying things out, seeing what might work, and just, again, as always, playing and having some fun. Let's just pop that one there. And then what I'm going to do is find a nice quote. So I've got my sheets here, things that I've found. Some I've written myself, some of my favourite poems, and I will find something that I like, and I will choose something. Okay, I'm just going to, that's got a little bit sticky there. I'm going to think about what I'm going to do for that, and then we're going to go back to our tags. I've really enjoyed making little tags and pockets for my journal. They're things that I can do some more work on if I want to. I can come back to it. This is the lovely thing about a journal, is that it never really ends. There's never really a stop. I'll just sort of put in another little pretty thing in there. I'll do some more on these pages. I'm liking this now. That's coming together. I've got some little pockets here. I did some washi tape on these ones. Just do a little pocket in there. And yeah, this one is coming on too. I did my timekeeper haiku, which was fun. Not sure about the edge. I'll do something with that, I think. This one I'm really liking now. A couple of positive quotes and little lines of poetry. This is the next page that I'll work on. And then, yeah, so these are the little tags I made. Little poems, quotes. And you can just completely personalize these to whatever you want, and I love that. I love when people take one of my ideas and then do something completely different with it. I love that. I just think it's so rewarding as a teacher to see that. Still didn't do level up. I'll come back to that one. And then this was my last pocket. Again, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one. So these are the collage papers that I've been using. I designed these a couple of months ago, and I've been using them in my work, just sort of seeing how they go. They've got this sort of vintage, natural feel about them. And if you're interested, I will put the link below. I really hope you enjoyed that tutorial. I found some quotes that I'd forgotten about. I'd put them aside and I thought, oh, I could use those. I've got this is the cover, and I really like it. Your heart is your guide, so trust it. And if you would like to see some more, you could look at this one and this one, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.